Yo, back in the car, new video. What am I doing today? I am going to surprise my mom. Y'all seen my mom, I think a couple videos ago. Miss Jimmy Lou Tate to some of y'all, mom to me. But I'm giving my mom an early Mother's Day gift. Little backstory. When it comes to Christian movies, Christian TV shows, all that stuff, I know there's a few gems here and there, but I've always thought they were lesser than. I thought the quality wasn't very good. The acting was cheesy. The movies always kind of felt like TV movies. So I've always just been kind of like, For the people that don't know me really well, I love movies. I love movies, I love TV shows, I have a passion for it. I'm a collector as well, like I collect physical media. I'm sure some of my students are like, they don't even know what the term physical media means. Kind of like vinyl, kind of like books. You know, some people still buy actual physical movies. But anyways, I have a big passion for that. I love movies. Over the past couple years, I can't remember, I don't know when it started. I think it was during COVID. Past few years, my mom has always mentioned the TV show The Chosen to me. And I know it's super popular now, so you're probably like, yeah, of course, but I wrote it off. My mom talked about it, some friends talked about it, and I never really gave it a chance. I didn't even watch an episode. I just figured it would fall into the same category as every other TV show, Christian TV show. But anyways, when all this spread the word stuff started, end of January, it was my buddy Tyler Lamb, Counter Productions, my amazing videographer when I get the chance to use him. He's the one. He knows what I like. He knows my style. He knows, you know, if something's cheesy or not. He was the one that looked at me and was just like, dude, you need to watch it. And of course, of all the times to start watching it, why not now? Like when I'm doing all this new God stuff. God's working on me and I'm doing new things. Like, good time to maybe start watching it. So I started watching it at the end of January. And oh my gosh, was I wrong. That show is so good. I mean, I was hooked on the first episode. And when it comes to Jesus, my mom always said, like, the Jesus, Jonathan Rumi, I think that's his name. She always said after watching the show that now that's how she envisions Jesus. Like when she prays, that's his face that she sees. And always kind of laughed it off. But I agree with her 100%. The way Jesus is in that show, or I guess the way Jesus is always, but now to have like that type of representation of him, like I want to be like that guy. You know, I've told some of my friends, like when I was little, I would watch Michael Jordan on TV, and then I would go outside and I would try to practice or play like Michael Jordan. I would watch Tiger Woods play golf, and I would want to go and play like Tiger Woods. You know, you just imitate the best. Well, I always put Jesus, God, churchy things on a different shelf. I never really imagined like trying to be like Jesus. Of course, I wanted to act like Jesus, but just to be like Jesus, to respond like Jesus, to laugh, to inspire, to teach. How he engages others. You know, on the TV show, obviously it's all about the Gospels. You know, just his mannerisms and his responses and the way he talks to people. And it's so amazing, and it really opened up my eyes to like that's what I want to represent every day. And over the past couple months, I've actively tried to think about that. With all that said, I finished season 4. Season 5 just dropped, and I assume because of Easter and how big the show is now. For season 5, it just came out, I think last week or this week. They are putting it in the movie theaters in 3 parts. We're going to see it. I'm taking my mom to see it. I texted her yesterday, and I just told her, I was like, hey, are you free tomorrow night? And she said yes. And I bought the tickets immediately when she said that. Then I was like, well, I'm picking you up and I'm taking you on a date. And I've never said anything like that to my mom before. I told her, eat something light before because we're going to go get something to eat after. Dress casual, you know, it's nothing fancy, but I'll pick you up at 5:30. And her response was, oh my goodness, I'll be ready. So I'm on my way to her house right now, and she has no idea what we're doing. I've already paid for the tickets for the next 2 weekends. And so me and her will be going to all 3 parts in the movie theater. So I just figured like this would be a cool way to get Mom, once again, you know, just talking about some God stuff and just highlighting her a little bit. And, you know, this would be a good little memory to have for video's sake, for, you know, just in time, this would be a fun little thing to go back and watch. So I'm on my way to her house right now, and after I get her, I'll check back in with you. Here she comes. She won't even notice the camera probably. Now she notices. She's smiling. I don't want to make her uncomfortable. Hello.
Hey. I've been on a date in a long time, except with Steve Tate.
I gave him a little intro. You have no idea what's going on.
I have no idea. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I have decided to give you an early Mother's Day gift.
Okay.
Because Mother's Day comes, what's May something. But anyways, I've bought us tickets. We're going to see part 1 of The Chosen, season 5, in the movie theater right now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the new season just dropped.
Okay.
So I guess leading up to Easter, they're putting it all in the movie theater. Part 1, part 2, and part 3.
Oh, okay.
So tonight is, I don't know how they're breaking it up.
Okay.
But I've got the tickets, and I've already bought the tickets for next weekend and the weekend after for us to go to.
Okay.
So we're going to see all of it in the movie theater.
All right. Sounds great.
And then we'll go get food after.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
We can have some God talk, and we're just excited to see it.
Oh yeah.
It's all based on the Last Supper.
For sure.
So
Yes.
we'll see what all it gets into.
All right.
So-
Well, let's go. I'm
All
ready.
right, we'll check back in soon.
All right.
There's no poster out here. I was trying to get a shot of us in front of the poster. All right, we're walking in. We just got here.
Maybe it'll be inside.
You would think it's December the way you're huddled up in that
I
jacket.
am cold. I'm cold all day.
She's always cold. But anyways, there might be a poster inside. I'm not sure. But anyways, we're walking in. There's just no signs anywhere for Chosen. No signs at all. Going in. Excited?
Very excited.
This kingdom is ours. Nobody is going to take it from us. It shall go well with thee, and thou shalt enjoy a blessed season upon the screen. Enjoy.
Hey there, I'm Dallas Jenkins. I'm the creator of The Chosen, and I am standing on the set of season 5 right now. This is Pilate's office at his Jerusalem mansion, which you are going to see in season 5. Now, first things first, hopefully you have seen seasons 1 through 4. If you have not, and you don't want to walk out of the theater right now, when you get home, please check out Prime Video or download the free The Chosen app to catch up on the first 4 seasons before you watch episodes 3 through 5 in theaters. Additionally, this QR code is a doorway into a cornucopia of delights. Right now is the good time to pull out your phone. Once the show starts, please don't, and get this page. And later, you can check out all the great stuff we've got for you. My comedy is different from what the people are expecting. And this is what is so beautiful about this story. Jesus' birth and his arrival in Jerusalem as the King of the Jews were humble. thank you for your support of this show. Please enjoy season 5.
It's funny, you go out, walk out from seeing The Chosen, and this is the poster that's beside it. Sinners. Actually does look like a pretty good movie, though. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan. All right, we're out of the theater. It was 2 episodes. The first episode felt like a long, it's probably like a little over an hour. And then the second episode was more like your typical 45 minute, 50 minutes. Just very brief, like not even like get into it yet, but just, what did you think?
There's some things that just leave you speechless at first, and that's pretty much the way I feel. But in these 2 episodes, there is so much to learn about what the real problem is. And the real problem is that people are blinded, and they can't sometimes see Jesus for who he is because they're so blinded by their works and what they think and by their traditions. And there's just so much to learn. This is like, these 2 episodes really help explain that. And it's amazing.
You see a different side of Jesus in this one.
Absolutely.
Compared to the first 4 seasons.
You see his righteousness, and all I could think about was that, Peter said, I would die for you. And it came to me, no, Peter, you can't do that. Only Jesus, the Son of God, could take on the sins of the world and be that sacrifice. Peter could not do that because he's not the Son of God. And when he came through the sheep gate, so many times I've thought, I'm so glad I live on this side of the cross instead of that side where I had to bring a goat or a bull or a bird for my sins. And Jesus did that once and for all. It's just amazing. And I have to sit and ponder on these things, and it helps me understand the love of God. I don't know, it makes me weepy too. But that's for me, personally for me, when the Spirit is teaching me or God's allowing me to understand a little bit more about him, I'm overwhelmed. And I'm overwhelmed at the moment. So, just amazing.
I think that shows she liked it.
Well,
it's cool. I mean, outside of because we'll get into it a little bit more in the car. I know you're cold.
No, I don't look at it from an entertainment point of view. It's the truth.
Yeah,
it's the truth made visual.
But it was cool seeing it in the movie theater.
But yeah, very cool and very comfortable too. By the way,
that's what I'm used to. Usually when I'm reviewing movies with friends, just the theater experience, it was packed.
Well, it's spreading the word, whether it's a visual or whether you're reading it or whether somebody's sharing it. The more ways one can spread the word, that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
And so,
all right,
spread the word.
Spread the word. All right, we're going to go get food, warm up a little bit. We'll check back in a second. Bye. All right, it's midnight. We just left from eating and talking and da-da-da-da-da. I'm gonna have to get her home before her curfew. What did Dad say?
Well, Dad asked me, he said, do I have to have a talk with you about good behavior before you go out on your date tonight? And I said, no, I don't think so. I think I got it. But I've already probably stayed out past my curfew.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully the phone doesn't fall. Sorry it's dark,
Let me see.
but we wanted to film while I was driving. Makes it easier. And now we're headed home. But any other thoughts on The Chosen? And try to keep it spoiler free. You know, I know everybody should know the story. It's not like you don't know what's coming. The name of the season is called The Last Supper, which I have a few clips in there. And the way it's set up, I mean, it's not really a spoiler. The way it was set up is the very first scene was already at the Last Supper, which, what's that, the Thursday?
That would be Thursday.
Yeah. So it sets it up as the Last Supper is the first scene on both episodes. It was 2 episodes. And then after that first scene, it goes back to the beginning of the week. It starts on what, Monday?
Yes.
When he's entering Jerusalem
Right.
on the donkey.
Yes. It always comes to mind, and it's just simply because I guess I have opportunity to facilitate and teach a good bit, but it always comes to my mind when I see something or when I read something, you know, how's this going to make a difference in my day, like tomorrow? How will that knowledge make a difference in my relationship with Jesus or with others? And you know, sometimes I don't know that. I just have to know that I've had the opportunity to see something and to interact with that information, and how the Lord wants to use that's His call. You know, it's really hard to put in words sometimes when the Holy Spirit's working in your heart and giving you a greater revelation of what Jesus accomplished on the cross. You know, one thing I saw tonight, you know, able to do that in a visual way, is just the depth of the understanding that Jesus had. I mean, He knew why he was going to the cross. He knew what had to be accomplished. He knew that the wages of sin is death, and He knew that He was going to become sin for the whole world, and that's hard to understand, but He knew that. And to see Him gripped by that is, I guess that's what helps change me, is that when I see what He's done for me, it helps me over the hump sometimes with the hard things.
One of my favorite things about watching Jesus in these different ways is, you know, the first couple seasons of The Chosen, you know, He's very kind of upbeat. He's very relaxed, confident. I don't know. He just kind of has a peace and joy about him as he's like spreading the word and kind of doing his thing.
Personable.
And then how he's transitioned towards this season to where he knows what's coming. And you see this mood change. You see this this conviction on his heart. You know, he seems to be very, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Bothered is the wrong word, but you can just tell, like, he knows the pain that's about to come. And the way he communicates, like somebody will make a claim that they're going to follow him, or they're going to do this, or they're going to do that. And whether they're telling the truth or not, he can tell right off the bat. He can like read their heart and know if it's the truth or if it's not. You know, he's very quick to where if someone says something that's a little fun, they kind of fumble their words or whatever it might be, and they're apologetic. He very easily just tells them, like, I know what you're saying. Like, I know what your heart's saying. But at the same time, he knows when it's just you talking and not your heart talking. And I liked seeing that other side of him In the second episode that they showed tonight is where you really start to see some of his the complete opposite side, to where he's angry about some stuff, and he really puts it in their face, and he tells them how it is. And of course all that's clear in the Bible, you know, but to see it visually, you know, through a TV show, movie, whatever, and just how it's kind of represented, you know, I don't know, it just has a little bit more weight to it.
He's showing us how God responds to sin. I have to remember that God is not like me. God is holy. He's completely holy and pure, and that's hard for a human being to comprehend. But a holy God cannot have fellowship with sin, and he will judge it, and it has to be paid for, thus all those animal sacrifices. And while it's so easy to think about Jesus as just being like individual Jesus, I have to remember that Jesus was God.
Yep.
And now he's showing exactly how he feels about sin. Cross was not about self-improvement. Jesus didn't go through all of that as a self-improvement program for me. It's a life change for me. It's the opportunity through faith to become right and right standing with God. And
Paying your debt.
yes, he paid a debt that I couldn't pay.
The one really cool thing that we saw, what did God do, or Jesus, what did he do in that one party scene?
Oh, when he was dancing at the Jewish.
We saw Jesus dancing.
Yes, I mean he was a social person.
And I have to say this, I've talked to multiple people about The Chosen. Some people, you know, they love the show, this and that, whatever. But then there's been a couple people that are like, well, you know, that's an artistic take on the Bible, and they almost kind of like scold me a little bit. And it's like, I think everybody, maybe not everybody. I mean, if you're a new believer, you don't, or you're a non-believer, you might see The Chosen and take it all as factual, how it's written in the Bible. Recently on a TikTok video, someone already came at me about dancing and how that related to God and how God might not approve of dancing. Well, I disagree with it. You know, I think there's obviously negatives of anything. You could nitpick anything and find some type of negative side to it.
I mean, it was a social celebration, and that was a Jewish, I want to call it a horror. Not quite sure about that, but it was a
horror, like horror movie.
Well, no, not like horror movie.
Horror.
It
just sounds like
horror.
a Southern person saying horror.
No.
I like that horror movie.
HORAH, maybe.
Hurrah.
I'd have to check on it. But it's a community dance where they join hands or join arms, and they dance in a circle, and it's a very cultural community kind of dance. And Jesus joined it. Well, his first miracle was at a wedding. I imagine Jesus did that circle dance many times if he was in a community celebration.
If he's changing water to wine, then it wouldn't throw me off too much to know that he might jump in the circle.
Exactly.
And dance.
Exactly. He was very, very, but that was a part of the Jewish culture and expression. And going back to, you know, what Jordan's mentioned here about dance, there's no argument that whether in anything, but let's just take the arts, but within anything, something can be done that's not God honoring. I don't care what you're doing. The question you have to have a sense of responsibility with it. And we all know when something is God honoring. We know when it's vulgar. All of those things. And so yes, if you only look at those things to the exclusion of everything else, then, you know,
Why do you think there's the term God-given talent?
Exactly.
You know, he gives us talents. Use them. But just know how you're using them. It's
Right.
very simple.
Yeah.
I just don't think Jesus is going to get too upset about some of these very simplistic little things that a lot of people like to nitpick at. That's my impression of Jesus. I like how we're like two floating heads. I mean, it's like we're in a rap album or something, like a rap music video.
Well,
We will be doing this again this coming Saturday is part 2, and then the Saturday after that will be part 3. And so we will check back in next week.
right. Watch The Chosen. It will change your life.
Yeah. Did you have fun on your date?
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So I'm looking forward to my second date.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you, Jordan.
You're welcome. All right, everybody spread the word. Peace.